got so motherfucking design on right now. Bring it down, nigga, clown. I got 3 old thoughts, I'm wild.
Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Okay, so today we're tackling love, but from an unusual perspective, to say the least.
Unusual is putting it mildly.
Yeah, so get this. Our source material is a fictional dialogue between a child and Satan.
Oh, yeah, that one. It's a fascinating premise, isn't it? You have this innocent child representing, that pure, idealized view of love.
Right, hearts and flowers and all that.
Exactly. And then you throw Satan into the mix, the ultimate cynic, the master of temptation and all things dark. It's like, can he even offer any insights into something like love?
Seriously, it's like, what does Satan know about love?
Well, that's the question, isn't it?
So how does this bizarre conversation even start?
Well, the child, full of curiosity, just sees love as simple. Caring, warmth, wanting to make others happy. They even use examples like, parents sacrificing for their kids, friends sticking together, proof that love is selfless.
Makes sense for a child.
But that's where Satan jumps in. And he's like, hold on, kid. Love, selfless. Never. It's all a transaction. You give, you expect something back, and that's where the pain comes in. When those expectations, they don't line up.
So even those things that seem selfless, like parents making sacrifices, Satan's saying there's always a hidden cost?
Basically, yeah. He suggests even the most generous acts, they can be kind of tinged with expectations even if we don't realize it. And that creates, a power dynamic. And that can lead to disappointment or resentment, he says.
Huh. That's a pretty dark take, but I can kind of see what he's getting at.
Right. Like those parents who constantly remind their kids of all they've sacrificed. Like, where's the love in that?
Okay, so if love isn't this pure selfless thing, then what is it, according to Satan?
He makes this analogy comparing love to a flame. Yeah, it's beautiful, but it's fueled by what? The wick and wax sacrificing themselves, right?
So even the brightest love, it eventually burns out.
That's what he's suggesting.
Oof, that's heavy. But the child, they don't back down, do they?
Not at all. They actually argue back that that's where the beauty of love lies, in its impermanence.
Right.
Like it's precious because it doesn't last forever, and that makes people cherish it all the more.
Okay, so the child's acknowledging that love can be painful, but they're saying that knowing it could end actually makes it more meaningful.
Yeah, they're kind of flipping the script on him.
But does Satan buy it?
Not really. He goes on to say that people, they cling to love out of fear, not genuine affection.
Fear. Fear of what?
Well, fear of being alone, fear of loss. He's basically saying that those fears can keep people in relationships, even when the love's gone.
That's deep. So even hope, which we usually think of as a good thing, he's saying it can be, what? Like blinding.
Yeah, he's saying that hope can be this double-edged sword, like it keeps us going, but it can also stop us from seeing the truth, and that sometimes we need to move on.
Wow. It makes you question those fairy tale endings, doesn't it? Like maybe sometimes letting go is the more loving thing to do?
That's a good point. It's not always about fighting for love no matter what. Sometimes it's about recognizing when it's run its course.
Okay, so we've got the child's perspective, we've got Satan's counter-arguments, but this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Right. Yeah. They go much deeper into, why we love, the role of pain and sacrifice, and whether it's even worth the risk. It gets pretty intense. It's like reading this dialogue. It's almost like looking into a mirror,
Yeah.
at our own struggles with love.
I get that. It's like we have both voices inside us, right?
Right.
The child, all hopeful, and then that cynical voice, like a mini Satan on our shoulder, whispering doubts.
Exactly. And what I find really interesting is the dialogue doesn't say one is right. It just lays it all out, the good, the bad, and lets us wrestle with it.
Yeah, love's messy, that's for sure.
It is. Beautiful, painful, all of it.
Oh.
That's what makes it, human, I guess.
I was thinking maybe that cynical voice, maybe it's not always bad. Could be like wisdom,
Yeah.
Hard-won wisdom.
That's an interesting way to put it. Maybe it's not about silencing one or the other. More like finding that balance. Knowing love can bring joy, but heartbreak too. And just accepting that.
Accepting the whole package deal.
Yeah, exactly. And the dialogue keeps driving that point home. It's like a tennis match, back and forth, the child and Satan.
There was that one part where the child talks about love as a bridge, remember? Even if it breaks, it's still connected people. Something like that.
Oh, yeah. Powerful image. That deep need we all have to connect with someone else, to bridge that gap between us.
But then Satan, he can't just let it be, right?
Right. out comes that dark side. He's all, every bridge can crumble, and when it does, I'll be waiting underneath. Chilling stuff.
It is. But it also shows us love is scary. Putting yourself out there, it means you can get hurt.
Yeah, for sure. It's a risk, no doubt about it. And that's something the dialogue doesn't shy away from. Love doesn't equal happiness, guaranteed.
More like love equals a gamble. You could win big or lose it all.
And maybe, knowing that going in, that makes choosing love even more powerful. Like you're saying, I know the risks, but I still want this connection.
Even if it breaks my heart. Because, well, a life without love, that's just bleak.
Yeah, it makes you think, right? Maybe the potential good, the intimacy, the shared moments, maybe that outweighs the pain.
So we asked earlier, can Satan teach us about love? I think the answer's gotta be yes.
I'd agree with that. He might be all about the darkness, but he makes us see the hard parts of love, the stuff we'd rather ignore.
He's like, wake up, kid. Love's not a fairy tale.
Exactly. And by doing that, he kind of accidentally shows us how deep love really is. Messy, yeah, unpredictable, definitely risky.
But still, at the end of the day, it's about that connection, right? Like the child keeps saying, even if it's hard.
Powerful stuff. It's this constant tug of war between those two sides that makes this dialogue so thought-provoking.
So where does this leave us? What are we supposed to take away from all this? I mean, our listeners.
I think it's a call to action almost, to look at our own relationships, our own experiences, and ask ourselves some tough questions.
Like, am I holding on out of fear? Am I expecting too much? Am I even really present with the person I love, or just lost in my own head?
All good questions. And maybe the biggest one, are we willing to take the good with the bad? Because that's what love is. Not a fairy tale, but a journey, ups and downs, the whole ride.
Definitely a lot to chew on. This deep dive, it's really gotten me thinking. Anything else? Any other big moments from the dialogue you wanted to hit?
There's one more. Really gets to the heart of this whole child versus Satan thing. And it might give us a clue as to why Satan's even bothering with this conversation.
Ooh, mysterious. All right, let's save that for part 3 then. All right, so you're saying there's this one last part of the dialogue. It really gets to the core of things. The child's idealism versus Satan's whole, well, Satan shtick.
Yes, towards the end, the child, they still believe love is good, pure. So they ask Satan, straight up, if love hurts so much, why do we keep doing it? Big question, right?
Yeah, it's like the million-dollar question. Did he have an answer?
He does. And it's, well, unexpected. He says, because pain is better than emptiness. Because connection, even if it hurts, that's what humans need.
Wow. That's not what I was expecting. So he's admitting, even Satan, that love fills a void. Like, we need that connection, even if it comes with a risk.
Exactly. It's like, even in his cynicism, he sees that human drive. We crave connection no matter what.
It makes you wonder, right? Is he just being, well, Satan? Or is there something more to it? Like, is he actually trying to, I don't know, warn the child, prepare them for the reality of love?
That's what I was thinking. It's like he's saying, hey, kid, I know you're all bright-eyed about love, but it's going to hurt sometimes, just so you know.
Like a twisted life lesson from the master of darkness.
Yeah, exactly. But the lesson is, don't give up on love. Just go in with your eyes open.
It's like those classic love stories, right? Romeo and Juliet, Titanic, all that.
Yeah.
So much passion, but it ends tragically, and yet we still love those stories.
Because deep down, we know that's part of it. Love can lift you up, but it can break your heart too. And that's what makes it real, powerful. Just like this dialogue keeps saying.
This whole deep dive, it's really shifted my thinking about love. Like, maybe it's not about finding the perfect person, that fairy tale ending. Maybe it's more about navigating the messiness, taking the good with the bad, and just appreciating that connection while it lasts.
Couldn't have said it better myself. At the end of the day, it's a choice, right? Do we risk heartbreak for the chance to love and be loved?
Big choice. And this dialogue, it doesn't give us easy answers, but it gives us a lot to think about. Even Satan, he gets it. We need connection, even if it's risky.
I guess that's the takeaway. Love's a gamble, but maybe it's a gamble worth taking.
Thanks for diving deep with us, folks. Until next time, keep those conversations going, keep questioning, and keep exploring the many faces of love, even the dark ones.